What's up, all my beautiful warriors? It's Angelica, and we're back with another video. If you're new here, welcome. I just wanted to come on here and talk about one of my favorite shows, which is called Good Trouble. Now, Good Trouble is actually a spin-off series, which stems from the series called The Fosters, which I fell in love with immediately. It is one of my favorite series of all time. So The Fosters is about two lesbian women who become foster parents. Two sets of brothers and sisters, and Callie and Jude. In the series, the Fosters, they're teenagers, and it's a drama series, and so Callie, they tell her story as a struggling girl in and out of foster care with her brother, due to her breaking in and out of foster homes, due to the abuse that has been done with her and her brother. So later they eventually meet these two lesbian moms, and which is one black and one white woman, and they end up finding a real home there. At the end of the series, everybody has graduated and graduated from college, I should say. I believe that's how it ends. And Callie and her foster sister, Mariana, they both go off to move to LA to live on their own and find their own jobs. Which I absolutely love this because at the very beginning of the series, it talks about how hard it is to find jobs coming out of college, and as well as struggling to find an apartment, starting out as a 20-something. And I think that's really educational because there's so much assumptions that movies give you about coming out of college and everything being so fine and dandy, which most college movies seem to be all about, mostly about frat parties, which is really not the case. But anyways, moving on. So in the series, the Fosters, Callie at some point dates a transgender male, and I think that's absolutely incredible because you don't see a lot of that you don't see a lot of LGBTQ representation in a lot of TV series or movies nowadays, or at least nothing that really jumps out at you, which I really think this kind of things should be talked about more, and I just don't understand why we don't make it more mainstream. But anyways, so Callie actually ends up becoming a female lawyer, and what inspired her to become a lawyer was because she was mistreated in the foster system, which is absolutely incredible. Like, I absolutely love that. And then we see Mariana, who is a Latina girl, and she is in the tech industry, which you definitely don't see a lot of female representation in the tech industry. And throughout the series, you see her struggling with a lot of the females getting bashed within the industry. You see a few of her friends that were working within this company end up leaving the company and starting their own business. And I think that's absolutely incredible and very inspiring. But yeah, also they move, her and Callie move into this place called the Coterie. And the Coterie is a communal living space. And you end up seeing how interesting this is. At first, when I first started watching it, I thought this is going to be super dumb. I'm not going to be able to sit through this. But it's very interesting because, like, they find this kind of dirty hole in the ground in LA, but it's kind of relatable, because not everybody's first apartment is like perfect starting out, and because you're like hella broke when you first get out of college. So I just think that it was such, like, this series is so well thought out. But anyways, so you see throughout the series, Callie and Mariana are slowly becoming like a family with these other people they're living with. They cook together, they clean together, and they just, of course there's some fights, but mostly they seem to get along, and it's pretty cool. But yeah, so Alice is the girl that runs the Coterie, and she is a lesbian Asian who aspires to become a stand-up comedian, and it's pretty incredible. Like, you see her slowly growing from like a small stand-up comedian to and all her struggles. Also, there is this other woman, her name is Davia in the series, and she is a 30-something woman who is a teacher, who struggles with body, who starts to inspire people about body positivity, because she is a bit of a larger woman. And yeah, it's just such an incredible series. And there is also Gael, who is a Latin male who is bisexual. And you also definitely you see a lot of in series, I find you see mostly gay or lesbians, and you definitely don't see a lot of bisexuals, and I definitely stand for that, because as somebody who is bisexual myself, there definitely needs to be more representation out there, and I love that he just helps to bring that into fruition of having that representation out there. And you also see him with his sister, who is transgender, and it's just such an incredible series. Like, there's so much LGBTQ representation in this series, and so much different ethnicities, and it's just so inspiring. And then you have this girl, her name is Malika, and she is a black woman who you eventually find out she meets this other black man, and he ends up explaining to her, his name is Deontay, he ends up explaining to her that he is polyamorous.
So you're in a relationship? So what, you've been hustling me this whole time? Trying to flirt with me so I could be your side piece?
Oh, so you think I've been flirting with you? Okay. For real? I like you. I think you're passionate and smart, not to mention beautiful and sexy, and I just feel you.
You just said you're in a relationship.
I am. But we're not exclusive.
So you're in an open relationship?
Not open. Poly. We don't just play around. In fact, she has another boyfriend. So the real question is, why have you been flirting with me?
And I'll show you the clip here of that. And he explains that about how he tells her he's in a relationship, and how he is also able to have more than one relationship because he is poly. And he also explains that he has a primary partner. And that is just, it's just such, you definitely don't see polyamory representation. I have never seen it in series, and honestly I learned so much through this series, because as I was going through it myself, I started learning so much just watching this show, and it actually answered so many questions, which is why I wanted to come on here and talk about this, because it's just so important to me that we have this kind of representation out there, because it's so misleading, and people just assume things of everybody, and they just think it's okay to just put people down for who they are and what they believe in, just because the mainstream is everywhere. You just see the same things of, oh, we have to be this one way because what's mostly represented out there the most. And you know, it's honestly it's sickening, really, that we have this one view of the world, and nobody can be any different. It's stupid and sickening, and I'm just so over it. like, the world is changing for the better. People are being more open about who they are, and honestly, I think that's amazing. There's more weirdos coming out of their shells, and by that I mean like nerds, which are which I find like so many people just go about the world with their nose held high, thinking they're better than anybody else, when it's honestly stupid, because there's so many different amazing people out there, and we just need to sit and listen to them and respect them, you know? I think different makes things better, because why would we want to be all the same? Because that's just boring. But anyways, back to what I was saying. So mostly the clips will probably say more better to say the clips that I'm going to be adding are probably going to say more than me myself, because I am still new to this, and you know, it's scary to just suddenly be something else than what the media and society expects you to be. It's not easy, and we need to reward people for doing such things, because some people aren't even brave enough to come out into this world and actually experience it and actually be themselves. But yeah, so you end up finding out with it. Anyways, moving on to back to the series. So eventually you find out that Malika is also interested in women, because she ends up finding this girl. I don't quite know what ethnicity she is, but she finds Angelica, and she starts to have feelings for this girl, or woman, I should say, and it's she realizes that this is who she is, and she can't change it. She actually ended up questioning her relationship with a guy she was with named Ivan, and he was pressuring her to be with him in a monogamous relationship, which she found out is not what she is. That's not what she needs. So yeah, she went into therapy, and her therapist explained to her that it's okay to be polyamorous, and she explains things to her, and you also see a bit of her friends kind of Malika's friends kind of bashing her about not choosing Isaac, and she must be crazy, and all these things. And of course she felt guilty for a bit, but eventually she realized that she needed to do what's best for her, and she had moved forward with her relationship with Deontay.
So it sounds like you feel a desire to have a relationship with both of these men.
Yeah, but I feel like it's wrong.
Why?
Because I feel like I'm being selfish. And why can't one relationship be enough?
Why does it have to be?
It sounds like an excuse to cheat to me.
Monogamy is just a social construct. We've been conditioned to value having one significant partner. But for many people, consensual non-monogamy feels more natural for them.
Personally, I don't think humans are meant to be monogamous.
Thank you.
But we choose to be, to keep the family together and to prove our love and commitment.
Many people believe polyamory is an orientation or identity. Not simply a lifestyle choice, but that you're hardwired that way.
What if being polyamorous is just who I am?
Whether it is something you choose or who you are, it all still comes down to one question. Isaac.
It doesn't sound like you're confused at all about what you want, Malika. Just whether you'll allow yourself to ask for it.
Do you think Isaac would be willing to share you with another man?
I don't know.
Oh. Is it worth the risk of losing him to find out? Because once you tell him how you feel...
That is a bell you cannot unring.
So I've been thinking a lot about what you said in our last session.
Commitment shouldn't mean suppressing your feelings or identity for fear you're going to lose the person you love. And as scary as it is, not being your authentic self, not asking for what you truly need, that's what ultimately blows up relationships.
And, you know, it's so beautiful when people just say, fuck what everybody else thinks in the world, and I'm gonna do what's best for me, and I'm going to just be myself and fuck anybody else, because that's kind of the way you have to think sometimes in order to do what's best for you and your own morals and values and opinions. Sometimes you have to step away from friends and family just so you can actually go about and be yourself. And yeah, it's fucking hard, but you can't just let everybody think for you. You can't just let everybody's opinions just you have to be strong in a world like today, because there's so many people who have just had these things drilled in their brain, what's right and what's wrong, and it's disgusting, honestly. And yeah, you just have to learn to, sometimes you have to learn to just step out of that societal bubble and move forward with your life. And that's what some people like Malika learn to do. But yeah, so, and there was this one point where in the series that Malika was taking care of her friend's kids, and Deontay was helping her, and she asked him, do you ever want kids? And he said, yeah, I thought about it, maybe in the future. And she asked him, how would that work with Polly? And he explained to her, well, just like any other relationship, but there would be more people to love the children.
They're awake.
I'm so tired. I could just pass out right here.
Yeah. Good thing they usually come one at a time. That's good.
Hey, so do you want kids someday?
I do. What about you?
I think so.
Yeah.
But how do people do poly and kids?
Just like anybody else does. I think in a stable, polyamorous home, more loving adults to care for the kids is a positive thing.
So, do you and Tanya talk about having kids? And like, does everyone involved have a say?
We have. And when we're ready to cross that bridge, I think it's something we have to talk about with all our partners.
And you know, it's beautiful for him to just like flat out say something like that. And you really have to think, you know? But yeah, I will insert that clip somewhere in here. But yeah, the world is a scary place, and you have to learn to just go with it, you know? Go with your gut instinct, because usually that's right. And sometimes you just gotta say, fuck the world. I'm doing me. And I know people are gonna see this video and that I know and have a lot of questions and a lot of there's probably gonna be some hate, but you know, it is what it is, and eventually we just have to learn to live with it. Yes, it hurts. Yes, it's hard. But that's about it. Anyways, I definitely really recommend watching this series. I know I kind of gave some spoilers, but yeah, it's extremely educational, and there's also so many other topics that it covers, and it's just inspiring, and you get to see what the world is really like through this show, and it's pretty amazing. But yeah, so check out Good Trouble, and I highly recommend it. It's such an incredible series, and I definitely recommend you checking out the crossover they did with Attention, I think it's called. I'll leave the link below. But they have this little mini interview series, if you want to call it that, of just some topics that they bring up in the show, and then they give like an educational response to it. The actors would give an educational response to the question they were given through a topic that they covered in the series. And yeah, they talk about, like, one topic is the difference between how much money different races and women in general get paid versus men, and it's pretty incredible. So definitely check that out. Check out Good Trouble. Check out that mini interview series. And yeah, that's it for this video. I hope you liked this little rant slash review, I guess, of the series / intro and a slight explanation and thoughts on polyamory. And yeah, so hope to see you guys next time. I love you guys so much.